This week's podcast is brought to you by Greenwood Nursery. It may still feel like summer, but we all know what's coming. Fall is just around the corner, and the best part of fall is fall planting. It's the perfect time to plant your perennials to establish great root growth. Greenwood Nursery in Tracy and Marshall is stocked with a wide variety of perennials to give you the garden of your dreams. Whether it's the addition of a plant or two or an entirely new landscape, the professionals at Greenwood Nursery can help you out. Stop by Greenwood Nursery in Tracy or Marshall today.
Welcome to the third edition of the Headlight Hot Seat. Today we are here with Mr. Bill Tower, Activities Director at Tracy Area High School. For how long?
I just finished up my 30th year in Tracy, 27 of those as the athletic director, activities director, I should say.
So what were the 3 years before that?
I taught Phy Ed and Health. I first came to Tracy in 95 with the Phy Ed degree and taught part-time Phy Ed. And then the first 2 years, I actually taught an advanced computers class. John Rocky was the principal at the time, got me to teach, trying to give me more hours. I was coaching 3 sports at the time, football, basketball, and baseball, and looking to get a full-time job. And so he gave me a few more hours with more than just Phy Ed and Health. And then the following year, Mike Peterines, who was the athletic director, decided to get out of being AD and go back to the classroom full-time. So that's when the school decided to go with a combo of community ed and athletic director and put them together and opened up that new position. And then I applied for that and got it and been doing that ever since.
So like you said, you managed to fit in a couple of stints as varsity baseball coach.
Yep.
I think you went to state twice.
Yep, under my twice as a head coach and then once as the assistant coach.
Okay, but
Yep.
you're two as a head coach. You went to state twice, finished third both times.
Correct. Yep, we could never get over that third place finish in '98 when I was assistant to Kurt Langer. '99 we got third, and then 2011 we got third place. So
What about those teams? I'm curious. I wasn't here for that. For those, I wasn't covering you, but you must have had some hell of a ball players.
we did. Yep, and I not to brag up the Milroy kids, but it seemed like on those teams we always had Milroy kids, and a lot of them, especially that '98 team had a lot. So '99 had a lot of Milroy kids, and when I played amateur ball over there those same years, kids, the boys were just running all over the place over there, chasing foul balls and stuff. It's just those kids in Milroy had just been around the game so much more than, and we had Tracy kids that did too, but at that time we knew us. In fact, I think it was '98, we actually called ourselves TMS, Tracy Milroy Sanderson, because we had one kid from Battleton, and it was, I can't think of his first name right now, Sanderson, why am I drawing a blank? But it was,
So we're talking
jokingly, we did. Yeah.
We're talking Dolan, Schlemmer.
No,
For you or
well, I've had plenty of Dolans. Schlemmer was Marshall. No, we had no Schlemmer.
right.
Yeah, he went to school in Marshall.
Okay.
Yeah, the one that just went into the Hall of Fame with the Yankees.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was a Marshall grad. Yeah, so back in '98, you'd have had like Jamie Lowaji, Derek Pinkney, Brian Dolan from the Milroy area, and Tracy had like Raleigh Schmidt, Wade Rignell, Brendan
there was a
Rocky.
balance.
So, definitely. At that time, there was definitely a balance. But
it's a lot of good.
yep, a lot of good ball players on all those teams. And even, the 2000, I think Derek Rignell's senior year in that area, we went to the section finals there too and lost to Laverne in the AA section finals. So
that's the
we had
double
a
A curse.
Yep, the AA curse again. So, and I thought we would have had some teams later on that if they were Class A could have made a run. The one that still, as a coach, bothers me the most is the COVID spring.
I knew you were going to say that.
Yep.
Because I was going to hit on that too. Because
Yep.
Olivia and Jake,
Yep.
our kids, were both seniors. I think both baseball and softball had pretty good kids
Yep.
coming back.
Yep, they did.
And I
Yep.
talked to Carl about this too. It's like, gosh, if we could only play.
Yeah,
that game.
exactly. It'd been interesting to know how that turned out. The unfortunate part, that team would have been a AA team and played some tougher competition. But we had 9 seniors that year and a few juniors that contributed. So I think we could have competed and possibly made some runs, but we'll never know now. So
And that year, it was a beautiful spring.
Oh, yeah.
The fields were dry.
Yep.
And then everything got shut.
Yeah, I think we sat there and, some of us that were in school every day, and we counted the number of days that we would have not had practice or a game. I think it's like 2 or 3.
Really?
That would have been, it was just a beautiful spring, and unfortunately we were all at home. So,
Tell us a little bit about yourself, Bill, about your family.
yeah, I've been married to my wife, Shelley, for, what is it now?
Uh-oh.
35 years, I think we just turned, or 30 years. I'm sorry. We've been dating.
she's
We
gonna
dated for
listen to
6
this,
years.
you know that.
I know she is. We dated for 6 years before we got married, so I always kind of get mixed up on
You want
all
to
the years
apologize
together.
right now?
No, I apologize, and it's 30, 1 year older than whatever Abby is. So that's Abby's our oldest. She's married and has 2 kids with 1 on the way. So we have
Oh, wow.
2 grandkids so far, Grayson and Selah, with 1 more on the way, due here in February. And then Lexi, and Abby's a teacher in Waconia, 3rd grade teacher. Lexi, our middle daughter, is in Owatonna, and she works for a financial company there, kind of the same business that Shelley does, a leasing business at U.S. Bank. But Channel Partners, I think the name of the company is. She's getting married in September to Tucker Alstead, who is a baseball player guy too, so he's playing amateur baseball right now, so we follow him a little bit also. And then Jake, who is that 2020 grad and just got a teaching job in Wyndham for the fall, and he'll be coaching football, basketball, and baseball in Wyndham in the fall. So
he's a chip off the old block.
yeah, I think so.
Pretty
He's
much,
he's
I mean,
a lot of the
he's
same interests. Yeah, he just likes to. He didn't know what he wanted to do for sure. He started all elementary ed, then he went to business for a semester or so, and then didn't like that.
Really?
And then he decided to go back to the teaching side and went the FIAD and health direction. So
Good call.
yeah, he always liked coaching summer rec. Him and I think James Foltz might still have the record. I'm not sure of the number of years they worked summer rec. And Olivia was in that mix too. I think she had to probably work at least 5 years too. But I think
4 or 5.
4 or 5, yeah. But I think James was 7 and Jake was maybe 6 or 7 also. But
James has the record.
yeah, I think James does.
You know, speaking of Jake and the Yankees, he used to play for the Yankees, of course.
Yep.
Now he plays for one of the best teams in the region. I would
Yep.
say Wyndham. You still follow him closely, like you did when
Yeah,
you and
absolutely.
Shelley were at a lot of Yankee games. Do you
Yep.
do the same thing with?
Yes, we do. We I think only missed a couple games this year, but I enjoy going to. That's one of my favorite pastimes. I was always looking forward to this part of our lives when we get to the point where we can go watch. I loved playing amateur baseball, and it's just as much fun going and watching your kids play it. So
Maybe even more fun.
it is. It's a little, yeah. It's different. You know, I
different.
I still think at times I feel like I could go and play sometimes, but you know, as we all do in our minds, you think you can go do that. But I always thought I could hit, but I wouldn't have to have somebody run to first for me. But
Designated runner.
yeah.
Bill's
It
a
was
baseball nerd. If you guys don't know that.
So yeah, he's enjoying it down at Wyndham, and he enjoyed his time with the Yankees too, and Engineers where he started. But yeah, he just loves the game of baseball and working or playing right now with a great group of guys, young, a lot of guys. He played amateur ball or not amateur ball with at SMSU. His 2 roommates that he lives with were teammates of his at SMSU, and that's kind of how they drew him over to Wyndham. So he's living with them. He was living with us while he was teaching at Red Rock Central last year, and when he moved to Wyndham in November, we pretty much knew that was probably going to be the end of Yankee ball for us. But the Pirates are having a good year.
Jake's too young to be a journeyman already.
Yeah, I know it. This is
His
third amateur team in 6 years. So
I think he's fun at home, though, for sure.
yeah, I think so too.
Let's transition. Obviously, we got the high school season coming up. The high school year. I shouldn't just relegate this to sports, obviously, but you're fresh off the fall sports meeting. We have practices starting Monday.
Yep.
What's a day in the life like for an activities director? How do you, or when do you start preparing for another school year?
Well, I mean, if you're looking at the school year right now, just last night was pretty much the month of July. I get ready for the fall sports meeting and get those kind of things up ready to go and present all that information last night. And then we got a week now till fall sports start. But once our fall sports teams start up and school starts, we'll start working on next year's schedule.
Oh, really?
We have a conference meeting coming up here second Wednesday in September, and we'll start going through, the schedule for volleyball the next year. Football's different. Football's on a 2-year cycle with districts and kind of scheduled and set up through the high school league. So I'm on that committee, so it's easy, but I'm also involved in the scheduling side of it. It's been a challenge the last few years. For a while there, we had a tight-knit group. I shouldn't say a tight-knit group, geographical closer group than what we have now. As you saw, we're going to Wells. We're going to Kirkhoven and Olivia. So Bold's nothing new to us. It's, this back with us again, I guess I would say. But going to Wells is going to be a trip. United South Central is the school. But yeah, Wells is
where geographically?
Other side of Mankato, I believe. We went there for a playoff football game we were talking about that as coaches here a while back. I can't remember what year it was. For some reason, I keep thinking like Spencer Smith's freshman year. We went down to
late
Wells.
teens.
Yeah, went down to Wells and played a playoff game. They were in our region or section, but now it's a regular season game. So,
Yeah.
and Kirkhoven's a new one. I have not seen Kirkhoven in football.
Okay.
We've seen him in other sports, but first time I've seen him in football since that I've been in Tracy. So.
I always look at the calendar and see what road trips there are.
Yeah.
To cover them.
Yep.
And unfortunately, they're not Tyler, Slayton,
Yeah.
Westbrook.
Yep.
It's such an expansive. I mean, the conferences and
Yeah. The conferences they eliminated in football.
right.
Oh, what is it? 10 years ago now or more? But I think it's going to end up going to section football eventually. That seems like that's how the path has been going here the last
Okay.
few cycles. Every 2 years they recycle the football, and I think within the next 2, maybe 4 years, it'll probably be section football. We're playing everybody in our section already, but our section this year only has 6 schools, so we had to fill those other 2 with. And that's where Kirkhoven and USC came in.
Okay.
Was to fill those two games. So
Let's move on. Winter and spring. Every winter and spring, I put myself in your shoes and try to figure out why I do what I do and try to, with the weather that we can't control, obviously. And then there's juggling all around for basketball, for wrestling when things get snowed out. What is that like, and how do you have to do that? I mean, how do you do that? Is it a lot of just communication with other ADs, back and forth, and you got to find a date, an open school date? That's got to be a
it is. At times it is. The challenge sometimes is just the size of our conference. Also, like we were just saying with football, you got us down here in the farthest south part of the Camden Conference, and you have Ortonville or Kirkhoven. The weather up there may be great, but we could have the wind down here, so we have to cancel, and they're like
vice
frustrated, or vice versa, and they're like, "Oh, So that's a challenge sometimes. Is trying to, if you feel like you have decent weather here, it's hard to comprehend. Like, okay, why can't you guys come down here? But it gets a little frustrating sometimes, but because it's not fun to have to reschedule. Because every time you do that, it messes things up, trying to make sure you got officials. Because in the winter, especially when you start moving games around, everybody's playing 3 nights a week. So you're taking, most of the time that crew is probably not available for your rescheduled dates. You have to find different officials. And
that's hard enough.
And usually, it's hard
We'll
enough
talk
as it
about
is.
that later, but-
Yeah, but as you have to find new crews, you're usually not getting nothing against any official because they all do their job, but they're not probably the higher end crew you think you had hired. You get in an association, you'll get some younger, newer crews of officials. So that happens. But as you know, we can't predict the weather, and that is a challenge.
What's harder, winter or spring?
Oh, I think spring probably is, just because it could stop raining and the fields are still too wet and the sun's out, but you can't play. Or if they both have their challenges. There's no doubt about it. I guess I don't know if one's more challenging than the other, but just finding dates to reschedule, like in the spring, track meets are really a challenge because everybody has pretty much their dates set for track meets, and to move a track meet is a challenge because you're talking 8, 10 schools, whatever, coming to a track meet, and to have a decent sized track meet, you have to have at least 4 schools. Okay. Otherwise, it's not really. It's more of a scrimmage than it is a track meet. We'd like to have the more the better, but that's always a challenge. So we've had a hard time getting track meets to be able to be rescheduled. The Panther one seems like it goes about every other year, depending on the weather. But
Are we on it for this year?
yeah, we should.
year?
Well, we should be. We had it I'm trying to think. No, we didn't have Panther one last year, but we had the other 3.
before.
Yep, but the year before we had it. Yeah. So it's kind of been we have it every year scheduled, but it's just weather-wise if we able to have it or
Question
not.
all
So
the time. Why do they even schedule it?
yeah, I know it. It's we go to a meet right now in St. James every year too. That's a week before that even. And I was talking to the St. James AD about it. He says, "Yeah, we schedule it, but 75% of the time it never happens." But that's the nice thing about this track has indoor facilities. Like Mankato State has a nice indoor facility. SDSU has a nice indoor facility. So our track teams have been able to go and participate in indoor meets early on in the year, where baseball and softball just can't do that.
I've been asked, sorry to interrupt you, why there aren't more, let's say, cross-country meets here. why there aren't more golf meets here. These kind of smaller, I don't know that they call them in the big leagues, non-revenue sports, but
Yep.
you know what I mean.
Yep.
The sports that aren't maybe don't get as much ink.
Sure. Well, you're only allowed so many events. Like cross country, I think you can have 10 races a year. So that's,
Really?
yep. Like
Oh,
football, you
I
have
didn't know that.
eight games. So there's limits to the number of
Okay.
events you can have. So to have more than one is, I don't know of any school that has more than one cross country
Oh, okay.
meet.
They all want home meets.
They all, well, not everybody, because you have to have a golf course at least, or school grounds big enough to host a cross country meet. The only one that I know that has that in school is Laverne. The rest are on golf courses.
Yep.
And then you have to have, like, your starting area has to be at least 100 yards, I believe, or something like that. I can't remember the official length to start on flat land to start your race
Okay.
before it curves or goes down or up a hill. So where we start ours, it works well. Parking isn't the greatest. I'd say that's probably the most challenging
that's
part of
tough.
ours is that it's fairly challenging early on in the year. We have people tell us all the time that the hills of it, because we go up and down a few hills and across the
yeah.
bridge, and
Yep.
it's early on in the year that's fairly challenging because
I
it's
think
usually pretty
that's
hot.
That's a perfect course.
It is. I like it. Yeah, for spectators, I think too, because you can sit up on top of the hill. I've seen you up there taking pictures.
Absolutely.
And you get a nice shot of them coming down the hill there on
And the bridge.
2 or 7, whatever it is.
Yep. The bridge is cool. Shout out to the Fultzes for letting.
Yeah,
you guys
Dean
park
Foltz
there.
has let us park in his farm site. He's helped parking. I think we're on year 27 of that meet now coming up.
Really?
So he opens it up for us every year and lets the buses park there. So it's
And you
been
can't
awesome.
do it without that. I mean,
Yeah.
there's no room.
Yeah.
The gravel road, obviously,
Correct.
it's filled up.
Yep.
But if
And then you
didn't
get
have
Eric Foltz and James, everybody that live on there also has been really good about knowing by 3:00 they kind of shut down their operation
Oh,
for
do
that
they?
day. So they're not hauling grain and all that kind of stuff up
Oh,
and
I
down.
didn't know
So
that. That's nice.
yeah, we communicate with them too, and so they've been really good about to shut it down while the course is going on because it's a challenge enough. So
Yeah, I bet. The state of officiating in Minnesota, I think, I don't have to tell you that it's pretty tough out there to find qualified officials. This is a multi-question thing, but why do you think that is? Why has it become so difficult? Why are officials, are they aging out, or is it, I've talked to football officials on the sidelines all the time. It's the parents, it's the crowd, and they just nonstop. And I'm down on the court for basketball, and I hear this stuff. You hear it.
yep. Oh
The
yeah.
dads out there, even some moms out there, and it's worse around the country. I mean, it's there's fights that start. There's people that get so irate with the officials that they get kicked out of games, whatnot. Is that what it is? Is it just the pressure from the outside?
I think that's a lot of it, and a lot of officials will say that. It's all part of it, I guess. You're right about the aging out. Some of those older officials are aging out. There's not a lot of younger ones coming in, or younger ones that have worked. But if you look at like football, at one time, at least when I started, it was 4-man crews. Well, now it's a 5-man crew.
Yeah,
So you're taking away.
that's a state high school league thing.
I don't think you have to have 5, but everybody does it.
Okay.
Just like in basketball, you don't have to have a 3-man crew. But the game has changed so much and so much faster that you have to have 3. And you'll see it more in girls basketball. Nothing against the girls, but you'll see more two-man crews or 2-person crews in girls than you will boys. But 3-man crew or 3-person crew is definitely a better route. But there again, now you're thinning out the number of partners.
Yep.
So that's some of it also. They always say it's the crowds, or there's some coaches too that get on and are chirping up and down the court the whole time, or a coach in the dugout chirping balls and strikes all the time, which it gets old.
But that's what
as
they
an
sign up
official,
for, right?
Yeah, they know they know, you're right. They know what they're signing up for, but a lot of them are doing it just to give back to the sport they loved and they want to be involved, and it is a good little side job paying wise. The pay is pretty decent nowadays for an official.
Do schools pay more because they're more quote unquote desperate? Has the stipend
Some
gone
of
up?
it, there was a big jump there when gas prices went up, because then all the officials we're driving, because in Minnesota, at least in our area, we don't pay mileage, so it's all built into their fee. Where in some states or associations may give them a flat rate like $90 plus mileage, but we include that all in our fees, so it's just much cleaner.
Right.
But I have a harder time finding lower level officials for like our
Oh.
junior high B squad.
Yeah.
I'm lucky I do have many adults in town that are willing
People
to help
here,
us.
yep.
Yeah, that are willing to help with us. But then when their kids come through, they don't want to be reffing. They want to sit and watch. So then I lose them for a few years, and then sometimes they don't come back. But we do have some that are willing to help out and umpire. Or, that's probably the hardest.
The Greg Carlsons.
The Greg Carlsons of the world. Yep, Greg does
Haberman.
everything for us. Yeah, Rick Haberman now. He does a lot of them for us. Matt Knockmoose does some football for us. I try to get old alumni to get them to come out and do it. Gavin Van Moore helps a lot with football. Get some kids from SDS or SMSU that come down and looking for some extra cash. So, but it takes, football. You have to have at least 3 for a lower level to pull it off. So, track meets are another. There you only have to have officials, but you're just talking about it, workers to get them like line judges. I'm still looking for line judges. So if anybody out there wants
really?
to line
For
judge
football?
volleyball, for
Or
volleyball,
volleyball?
volleyball, that's
And then the girls mostly who stand in the corner and take the abuse from.
yep. They almost take. I don't want to say this. It's not going to
Well.
encourage anybody to come and
No.
want to line judges.
But they hear
sometimes
things.
the line judging is more of a challenge than the officiating.
Yeah.
Because you're having to watch that line, and everybody thinks what they saw if the ball's in or out. All
They're
the ball,
standing right
and they're right
a
there.
few feet from the
Yep, and sure,
bleachers.
it's sometimes they miss a call, but everyone misses calls. So, but yeah, it's some of those kind of things for me is harder to find than the varsity level officials because we've got some pretty strong associations out of Marshall and Worthington area that have crews that if you get a hold of them early enough, that's why we hire officials a year in advance. Also, at least through an association, there's guys like I don't know if you've heard of Johnny Benson.
Yep.
He's been real good for the baseball, softball communities in getting all these young guys. I think Greg works for him. Rick works for him in the summer. They're busy, and he's always looking for more people.
It's a full-time job.
It's a full-time job.
If you do multiple sports.
Yeah,
like
he
a lot of
teaches in
people.
Marshall, and he organizes this association, and it's all on a Google Doc, so I can pull up. I can see everybody's games, who's working,
Okay.
and he's been willing enough, nice enough to also help us out with some lower level officials too. But we got guys driving from Canby to come here and do a junior high softball game. I mean, it's just
Oh, God.
stuff like that. So they're willing to do it to help us out. But if there's anybody out there that's looking to want to get and help out in sports, we'd love to have you. Yeah, give me a call. In fact, we are starting, the high school league has pushed this now the last few years is getting schools to have a curriculum for officiating. And we've added that to our curriculum. Ty Kemp is going to teach an officiating class this school year. They didn't have a lot of kids sign up for it because I think it's pretty new and they probably don't know what it all entails. But we thought we'd start this and we could get them to help officiate Cubs, elementary basketball.
That's where you start.
Yeah,
Is
table
this through the
baseball.
school
So
or
through the school.
community rec?
Nope, this would be through the school. Yep, be part of an elective. So yep. So hopefully we get more kids to sign up and they'd get paid or whatever to work some of these games. And it's great. You go to college, they don't realize how easy it is to hook up with a high school and go and officiate some games for it. You can make
Especially these days when, like we said, there's a shortage.
Yep, there's a shortage. So, so the high school league's been pushing it hard to get younger people to go out and learn the sports. So I think Canby also has an officiating class because I know I talked to Perry Fink up there, and that's why we're kind of piggybacking off that. They give you a curriculum and everything, so
Sweet.
they'll learn certain sports. But hopefully we get that off the ground for sure.
I'll talk a little bit about digital ticketing, which is new to the school this year.
Yeah.
Run us through that a little bit.
Yep, I know it's new to us out here. SMSU has gone totally digital the last few years. Worthington High School has done it for sections. Our families have seen it at the section tournament level, but not probably as much at the regular season level. But more and more schools, it's been a discussion at the Camden Conference for sure. More and more schools are going that route. They've gone solely digital, where we are not. We are just given it as another option. We've had people over the years ask, I wish I could pay with card. I wish I could do this. Or, so we're going to have that card option for them and also still have cash.
I think the older generation, no offense to them, but they would rather.
Yeah,
with
cash
a
is
$10 bill.
cash is king. So it's in a lot of people's minds. But we're going to have that. We did do all passes online. So all of our passes will be digital.
for the kids.
So for anybody,
To
adults
buy
too.
a
Yep, to
season
buy a season pass, it'll all be done on GoFan, and that's all on our school website under the activities link. You can find our GoFan stuff, our Huddle stream, where we can stream our games too. But the Booster Club is also going to have the availability to purchase with cards at the concession stand this year also. So they'll have both cash and card sales there too. So
Oh, wow. That's sweet.
yep.
Okay, let me preface this next question by saying I'm old school when it comes to sports. I love sports. When I watch a football game, I like to see dirt and mud and the kids walking off the field. I go back to a couple years ago when we played Springfield in a playoff game here. I'm sure you remember.
Yep.
It was snowy, sleety, rainy.
Muddy. Yep.
The players were just drenched, a mother's nightmare basically, trying to get the white pants clean. A lot of schools now are going to turf, making the transition. We saw RTR do it. We saw Canby. I just drove by Canby a couple weeks ago on my way to Watertown. I didn't know they had a turf field.
Yep, they just this will
true.
be their first year playing
This
on it,
will.
I think, or maybe it was last year already. It might have been last year. They opened up last year. They have not had a track meet yet.
Okay.
'Cause I know they had some of their event areas hadn't grown grass yet. But yeah, McRae's another one. Lakeview, Worthington.
And the fields, don't get me wrong, it looks sweet. It
Yep.
looks, and I'm sure the kids, well, most of the kids probably love it because it kind of makes them feel more professional. And I think obviously the no maintenance factor is a big thing in why schools are doing it. I don't like it myself. Like I said, I like the dirt and the mud.
Yep.
Is there a possibility that Tracy will make that shift
You know,
in the future?
when Jason Kynes was the football coach, he always talked about it and he was pushing for it. And he likes it. And I think you're right. It was more of the look and just saying, hey, we got a turf field, the prestige of it, I guess. I don't know that you have one.
Yeah.
But I personally too, I like grass. Yeah, it's more maintenance. I think we have a great setting for football on our field. It'd be nice to have turf, I guess, too. The best benefit of turf, I guess, you can, especially if we still had our soccer going. You know, because soccer could
You
play
can do
on
a
it,
lot of
FIAD
things.
can be on it.
Base-
You can do a lot
softball.
of stuff on it. There's no wear and tear. Softball could practice on it. You know, baseball could go out there, whatever in the spring and do some stuff. But yeah, I know RTR has it. They have bases, and so does Lakeview to play softball on early on in the spring if you needed to. So I'm not against it, but I'm also not pushing for it. I do like the natural look and the natural grass and all that kind of stuff. I've always said, here again, being a baseball guy, to me in Minnesota, it makes more sense to have turf infields and baseball fields to play ball in the spring than it does football in the fall. You can play on anything in football.
Yeah. and
But in the
that's beauty
spring,
of
how many
football.
baseball and softball games get canceled or shifted or whatever because the fields are too wet? So if you had, we played in Wilmer, they have that turf field up there, and it's just an infield that's turf. The outfield is still grass, and they can play baseball there early on.
Yep.
You're in March, you're playing as long as the temperatures are okay. Where in football, you can play in that. It's football.
It's football.
You can play in rain, snow,
If
sleet,
there's-
cold.
Unless there's lightning, it's
Yep,
going
correct.
the game
It's going.
on, right?
Yep, correct. And even
Right.
sometimes that's a little questionable, but
Well, yeah. Depends on where the lightning
Yeah,
is. If it's
yeah.
a flash lightning or a bolt.
yep. So you're talking about maintenance, not to jump on here, but I'll just let you know that maybe Jim doesn't want me to tell you this, but he's got a pretty cool thing coming. We've got these robots that paint fields now. And we had a guy come down and do a demo for us last spring and painted the soccer fields. I don't know if you noticed
Yeah.
how straight they were one time. Nothing against Jim's painting. He does
Well,
a great job, but
Jim does an awesome job.
Yeah, he does.
Shout out to him big
Yep,
time.
absolutely. And we're lucky to have him. And someone who takes, has that much pride in his work and work on the field. So, but this is going to free up so much time for him. He can set the football field painting machine to go. It's all done by robot, GPS, and go work on do something else on the grounds, and it'll paint the football field for him.
Really? Is
So-
he going to start that this year?
He's got it ordered. So
This is for I'm being selfish here because I want to do a story on
Oh,
that.
absolutely. It's a great story. Yeah, we would have let you know. And, he was kind of
Yeah.
hee-hawing around deciding if he should pull the trigger on it or not. And
Well, he's still going to have work. I mean,
oh, definitely.
Jim does the whole grounds. At,
Correct.
I think both schools, right?
Correct. Yes.
It's not just manicuring the
Yep.
football field.
Yep. And he also helps with Sebastian Park ball fields, and
And then
we get
snow
those
removal
fields
in the parking lot.
Yep. So I know it's it's still a full-time job. And even with the painting help. It'll just free him up to do other things that he likes to do and needs to be done too. So, but it's, you can do graphics. It can do, we'll be able to put that Panther head or a TMB
For
logo
homecoming?
from this just by robot on the field. So
So is
Yeah.
that going to be permanent? The 50-yard line midfield.
it could
graphic?
be. Yeah, absolutely. I hope you're not just homecoming, you mean? Yeah, maybe
Yeah,
it might
not
be there
just
all season.
homecoming.
That'll have to, good question. It'll be,
Paint the end zones blue.
we
and
could
red.
paint, you could paint the end zones. Absolutely. You could put stripes in them like SDSU has that checkerboard or whatever. Yeah, it could be pretty creative, but
So you can do things without having to spend the money on turf and still make your field. And like I agree, the field here at Tracy is wonderful. I don't think it holds water.
no, not very well.
Obviously, the midfield.
Yeah.
know,
Well, you remember
between
the
hash
couple of years
marks.
ago in that Reigns game where you took a picture of me standing
Yeah,
there
I still
pushing
got
it?
that photo.
Yeah.
Yeah, you had a squeegee.
I had a squeegee. I was trying to squeegee to the drain, at least get the water off the field because it was almost out to the hash marks on the sideline hash marks, not
See,
the
that's the
midfield.
romanticism of
Absolutely. Yep.
grass football fields.
Yep.
Quickly, lights at the baseball field. Any chance in the next 10 years?
It's been something we've been wanting for 30 years I've been here. I know we've talked about it on and off. We had some plans at one time, back when James Foltz was in high school or Brian Foltz. Eric was working with me quite a bit. We had possibly had some used lights that we were going to get from a school that was putting in new ones, but we didn't have the poles, so we were pricing poles, whatever.
Yeah.
It's just gotten so expensive now. You're looking at
Oh, I
a
can't.
turnkey operation to put in our field is $275,000 to $300,000. And when the engineers were going, it made a lot more sense. Right now, we'd love to have them. We'll move our Legion games and some of those games back here. Right now, or even high school, we play a lot of because everybody's numbers are getting a little bit smaller. You're having to share your B squad kids with your varsity teams.
Yeah.
So they're playing either a B squad before the varsity or a B squad after the varsity. So you need those lights. Otherwise, kids are only getting 3 innings in for a B squad game. So if we had lights, it would benefit those things and be able to keep them in Tracy. Right now, we are lucky we have such a
gonna
beautiful field up in Milroy to use, and they've been great partners with us for years on using that field. They love to have us up there, with because it brings concessions and people up there. And the kids like playing there, so it's got atmosphere. But if we had lights here, that could change things here as well. It's still a dream of ours. I know talking with James Foltz, now that he's the head baseball coach, he's in favor of it, but he's also has other plans for the field and, keeping up with the times. Everybody seems to have decks or viewing areas and all those kind of things like the softball did.
complex.
Yep. So there's some of those things I know, and adding some more seating area or cement type things around the baseball field as well. So lights is still high on the list, but it's been on my capital outlay list ever since I've been the AD every year.
I know. I
And
see it
unfortunately, it
every year.
gets scratched every
that
year.
line
So,
through it
so
right
someday maybe.
One more quick thing when talking about fields. Is the softball team going to play on the north field at the
Yes.
complex? Is that going to
Yep.
be ready?
Yes, that's the goal. I know Carl's going to be working on that this fall with his construction trades class again. He's looking for a little bit more money to finish the whole project, but the Panther Booster Club just gave him another good chunk of change here last week to help with some stuff. Everything, as you know, is more expensive than what you
Yeah.
planned, but it's going to be a beautiful complex. He's put a lot of time and effort into that field. So the north field will be the varsity softball field now on the highway.
Yep.
The south one will be the B squad, and part of the reason we went that because we can still use that one for summer baseball and stuff because it's got the bigger infield. So we'll still play our 5th and 6th grade games, all that kind of stuff. But our plan is to, have all of our summer traveling baseball and softball games all on the highway because there we have the bathrooms, we have the scoreboards, we have the concession stand.
The party deck.
Yeah, the party deck.
what they call
Everything
it in
is there.
Milroy.
Yeah, everything is there. I know there's a plan to maybe look at doing some stuff at Sebastian Park too, but as we know, when those fields were built at one time, they were meant for Little League Baseball, summer rec ball. Really wasn't meant to host games and stuff. Not saying we can't get there, but we want to finish the highway project, get that all up, and have those. We'll start working on the fencing, hopefully on that south field too, because that all needs to be replaced. It's original and too low for fast pitch or too low for baseball. It's almost dangerous at times for spectators sitting behind home plate, but we'll get there. Yep.
Well, we should put a thank you out to the public, to the
Oh,
businesses
absolutely.
that- I know Rosa came to us and asked for some money, and of course we couldn't say no to her. And it's softball, and we love sports here.
Yep.
But the businesses in Tracy have really
Oh,
stepped
absolutely.
up.
We have yes, we can't, that's for sure. Even everything we've asked of the school, there's numerous organizations that have donated a lot of money in a lot of our projects. Our video board at the high school, we started a sponsorship campaign last year, and pretty high dollar amounts that, that people aren't used to seeing, but we had 10 businesses jump in right away and took over the blue level and filled it up for us. So that's awesome. So
Takes a village.
it does. And people have been very generous. So yeah, it's been awesome, and it's a great community and a lot of support. So we appreciate it all.
Yep, absolutely. Bill, you are off the hot seat.
This week's podcast is brought to you by Greenwood Nursery. It may still feel like summer, but we all know what's coming. Fall is just around the corner, and the best part of fall is fall planting. It's the perfect time to plant your perennials to establish great root growth. Greenwood Nursery in Tracy and Marshall is stocked with a wide variety of perennials to give you the garden of your dreams. Whether it's the addition of a plant or two or an entirely new landscape, the professionals at Greenwood Nursery can help you out. Stop by Greenwood Nursery in Tracy or Marshall today.